What's going on, Roanoke, Texas? Welcome to episode 75, season 75.
75 times we've had to sit this close together and do it.
I know. Pretty impressive. Episode 75 of season 5 of Talking Throws Podcast, Texas style. I'm Coach Jason.
I'm Coach Janelle.
And we are throws coaches with the track club, the Thorn Factory. You can go to that website and check out our bios. Guys, our summer season's coming to an end right now. We've had a really good success in our summer season. We're getting ready to go to the JO Junior Olympics for AAU and for United States Track and Field. So we hope to see y'all out there. Coach Smith is still doing private lessons especially for javelin. So if you're in the greater Fort Worth, West Texas area and you need some javelin or maybe even shot or disc, reach out to Coach Kai. His contact information is on the website. Coach Jarvis is located, he's east at the Thorn Factory, located in the Mesquite, Rockwall, East Texas area. And if you're looking for discus or glide shot put or rotational shot put, he's the guy over there. His contact information is also on the thornfactory.com website. Remind everybody too that our apparel page, shopping page is on the site as well. We will be adding new apparel coming out pretty soon with some cool fun sayings on shirts, some tank tops for men and for women, and some other wardrobe options. So go check that out at the thornfactory.com on the shopping page. We want to thank our sponsors for season 5. Without them, we can't do what we do. We want to thank Texas Track and Field Coaches Association. That website is ttfca.org. For everything Texas Track and Field, go to that site. Stuart Cantor's the man. He is doing a lot with track and field in the state of Texas. So if you have questions or anything from records to rules to meets, anything like that, go to ttfca.org and it'll give you that information. Our favorite implement company, 4throws.com, quality implements priced right. Go to 4throws.com, use the code TalkingThrows10 to get 10% off, TalkingThrows10 to get 10% off. If you're looking for javelins, hammers, wires, if you're looking for netting, if you're looking for tape measures, anything throwing related, go to 4throws.com and the heels will take care of you. Our favorite athletic development, Ready Up Athletic Development in the greater Austin area. Contact Zach Phillips at 512-507-8347. That website is readyupad.com. readyupad.com, or you can follow Zach out on Instagram or Facebook for Ready Up. Our favorite discus, Fiber Sports Discus. Welcome to a new way to get the distance. You can go to fibersports.com and get the latest in measurements and latest in everything for discus.
2K.
There's a 2K. This one still has a wrapping on it.
Oh, that's one of those.
Yeah.
This is a low spin.
And this is mid spin twister 3. So very shiny and new. That's the back of it. We're seeing a lot of collegiate athletes use these. We're seeing professionals use these. We're seeing our high school athletes use these and are getting good results. Don't be behind the times with the wrong rim weight. The website can kind of maybe do a good job of fitting you for the right rim weight. So if you have questions beyond that, you can contact Bruce Caldwell at 817-819-1472. That's 817-819-1472. And remind everybody too that we also are on YouTube. So look up the Talking Throws podcast on YouTube. Today's guest is currently in law school at the University of Oregon. She's a 2016 graduate of Byron Nelson High School. That same year in 2016, she was a 6'8" shot put champion with a mark of 45.7. In her junior year in 2015, she won the shot put at national JOs with a mark of 48.7. Also that same year earlier, she set the meet record at the TTFCA Meet of Champions with a mark of 47.10. After she graduated from Byron Nelson, she went on to sign a track scholarship to TCU University, and she had a personal best at TCU of 47.6. Please welcome to episode 75, Leilyn Miles.
For sure. And I definitely have listened. You guys have had some awesome people on here. It's awesome.
So before we butcher it, is it Leilyn?
Yes.
Okay.
We had to watch a video of someone else saying, we're like, how do they say that? I'm like, YouTube a video. I'm sure someone interviewed them, recorded them, did something.
Yes,
Leilyn, I enunciated it right the first time.
I believe it. I believe it.
You are. It's good. The first question. Okay. See, she don't even know what she's doing now.
It's summer break, so I have summer teacher brain. So it doesn't always work. But all right, we're excited to get you on. So tell us, how did you start throwing and when did you start throwing?
Oh, it's actually funny. So I started throwing in 7th grade because I refused to be in soccer off season.
Okay.
Yeah. So in middle school, I was trying all the sports out, doing whatever. My dad had thrown a little bit. And so he was like, try it out. Like maybe you'll like track. And so 7th grade is when I started, and I was naturally okay, if that makes sense. So my parents were like, okay, maybe this is a thing. We'll keep it up. And then I started winning meets in middle school, and just being the competitor, I was like, this is fun. Like I like track meets. I like that I'm competing for myself. And then fast forward to 8th grade, got a little bit better. But it really started because I didn't want to be in soccer off season.
So did your dad show you how to hold a shot put? Did he give you any technical cues?
He gave me some. So I'm sure y'all know that like the coaches whenever the track coaches at the middle schools or the high school are the football coaches.
Yes.
Yeah. So my dad he was a football coach at a different middle school.
Your dad was a coach teacher
So both my parents are educators. My mom is a principal and my dad he was a coach teacher, but he just stopped coaching and now he's getting his master's and he wants to be a principal as well. So they're awesome. I love them.
Oh, nice. Okay. We were going to ask that story. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, get in there. So my dad, it's funny because I'm sure it'll lead into something else later, but my dad always tried to help me. But I was just so stubborn, like so stubborn. So by the time I got to like high school, he was like, I'm done with you. We'll hire a coach. So it was more, say again. No,
throw the shot put and the discus, or did you do just shot put?
So I threw the shot and the disc until my senior year of high school. But by the time I got in college, my coach was like, you're rotationally challenged. Like, we're not doing that.
Some people are, that's true.
You could have done glide discus. That works.
That would actually be super cool. I wish someone would do that.
Yeah. Is there one thing that kind of stood out with you your 7th, 8th grade year that kind of said, okay, this is something I want to pursue in high school. This is something I feel like that I'm good at versus maybe, you being on a soccer field with 10 other girls?
For sure. I think the thing that really stood out for me was this idea of like, if I make a mistake, it's on me. If I time it wrong, it's on me. If the shot doesn't go far, there's nobody else to blame but myself. And I liked the whole individualism of it, but I also liked the idea of contributing to a team. So like while I was competing for myself, my points mattered for the team, and I liked that. And I think it was also that idea of like, I'm pretty young for my grade. So I was probably like, 10, 11. Like I was really young, and I started doing well in track in ways that I wasn't doing in other sports. So like, sure, I was playing volleyball, but like, was I going to start every single time? I'm 5'5". No, like I'm not tall. And then like soccer, I was okay at soccer, not good by any means. But then track was somewhere where I was doing well. I enjoyed being out there. And so it just felt different for me than the other sports.
Oh, great answer. Great answer. So you have some success. Your dad's coaching. You get into Byron Nelson High School your freshman year. What was that transition like going to be, at a big 6A school like Byron Nelson but being a freshman, and also you transitioned from maybe that 6-pound shot put to that 4K.
Oh yes, that transition I remember was just kind of, it was just kind of weird because I was like, okay, it's like heavier, but I also, it like is the same size. I liked throwing with the tiny shot. So like I liked the smaller one. So I was like, I think that's kind of how they helped me with it. They gave me the smaller one that weighed more. So
Yeah.
I liked that one. But also at that time, I went into high school playing basketball. So you start like you start practicing with the high school like in 8th grade so they can like see what you're doing and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was going through basketball conditioning and training before track season even started. So I was in better shape than I had been in middle school. So it was a lot easier transition, I think.
Oh, wow. What position did you try out for in basketball, being 5'5"?
I was a 4 and a 5, believe it or not, which is, I can't shoot. I cannot shoot. It was embarrassing.
Scare some people out of the paint though, right?
Yes. No, yeah. In basketball, I actually had I did decent in high school. Was defensive player of the year. I was known for taking charges. So if you ran into me, I was going to fall.
Oh, it was good acting? Was it good acting?
Oh, yeah. The parents hated me. They'd be like, 2 for the flopper. And I'd be like, you're right.
Oh, wow. So my question was, you get there your freshman year, you have some success. Who were some of the coaches that kind of took over, your responsibility of your dad and kind of got you going? Because your freshman year, you go to state and play 5th. That had to be a pretty unique situation being a freshman, especially 6A, making it to Austin as a youth.
I think Byron was 4A that year still.
Okay.
So we were a little bit smaller. I think my freshman and sophomore, we were 4A, and then my junior and senior, we moved up to 6A. But it was actually really funny because so my dad, like people know my parents in the district and stuff. And so they watched me in middle school. So they kind of knew that maybe there was something there. But the coaches that I trained with I had 2 football coaches at first, my freshman and sophomore year, and they were awesome. But it was kind of like we are football coaches, And so then my junior and senior years, I got to work with Coach Miller and Coach Tweedy. And I don't know if they're still at Byron, but Coach Miller and Coach Tweedy did so much to try to help me be the best that I could be. Like Coach Miller was always watching shot videos or technique videos on YouTube or asking around and like trying to see how we could tweak things to make it better. And then Coach Tweedy also the same. He was just they were football coaches, but they cared about the track team and they cared about me, and it translated into the way they coached me. Like Coach Tweedy would sit in the indoor with me for hours and just go through drills and just be like keep going. And then my junior year, we hired.
My question was, so did you train year round when like your freshman, sophomore year? Were you training during the winter, getting ready for your outdoor season?
So my freshman year, I don't think so, but I believe my sophomore, junior, and seniors when I had Coach Pete Abbey. And I trained with Coach Abbey for during basketball season, during all the seasons. So that's when I was doing that.
Okay. Now, were you proficient by your sophomore year at the glide? And you kind of talk us through some of your technical cues for the glide or what you interpreted it at that age.
Yeah, it was
the shuffle.
The shuffle. The glide. Yeah. So I was okay at it my sophomore year because the football coaches that I had really made an effort to try to get the techniques so that when I continued on with whoever was next, it would be there at least. Yeah. And then technically my junior year is when it really started coming together. So so freshman and sophomore year, my coaches, I was just way stronger than all the other girls. So I would go out and just warm up throw the first one and win. And then that's when we would practice.
Wow.
So we would.
So that carries you all the way to state your senior year. I mean, your sophomore year with the
my sophomore year of standing throw, I would say for until maybe regionals would win it.
Oh wow!
And even
technique, just
it was really just like it was really just like you're stronger than them. Like, why don't you just on the first one get a good mark, and then after that we'll really work on focusing on how you get across the ring and things like that. So it was, I mean, I think that sounds weird, but they were just so great in the go ahead, get a mark, and then we're going to work on the glide after that. You got 5 more throws after that.
So going back to your father being so strong, did your father introduce you to weight training in your junior high or do anything like that? Powerlifting?
So both my parents were collegiate athletes. My mom played softball, my dad played football. And so we always had the weight stuff at home and stuff like that. But the majority of my lifting and stuff really came from basketball. We had PC performance course. Mm-hmm. So we would come in at 6 a.m. and just lift. And then I'd go to basketball practice during the first period. Yeah. And then we would have our lifting and stuff like that. So it wasn't really my dad, but he definitely is the one who introduced me to sports and things like that. And he would tell me he'd be like, your form looks like you gotta he's like, I don't know who you're gonna listen to, but that looks bad. So
it's winning. So
yeah, so he was like, you're gonna have to listen to somebody sometime, so let's figure it out. But he wasn't a big, once he realized that I was so stubborn that it was gonna hurt our relationship if he kept trying to coach me, he let other people do it. So it was really performance course. My basketball conditioning was just insane. So it was really that got me introduced to the weightlifting. And then my junior and senior years, once they realized I was getting better, my coaches were football coaches. So we started lifting heavier and more aggressively that way as well.
So you had success too in your unique story where you actually had some really good success in summer track. So did your father coach you, during the summer track and during those seasons, or did you have a personal coach that you went to or anything?
That's when we had Pete Abbey.
Okay.
So Coach Abbey, he's down in Denton, right by UNT. And he and my dad, so he did a lot, and my dad would reaffirm the things, or he'd be like, maybe we should try this, or maybe try this, see how he feels about this. So it was really a joint effort and my mom too. My mom, they did so much to make sure that I could get those lessons and the coaching. They did. My mom would record my practices and put them on YouTube so coaches could see them. Or my dad would sit there and listen to the techniques, or sometimes I'd go alone, but it was really it took a village. It really did.
Yes. That's awesome that you recognize that.
So what kind of student were you?
The one scared of failing. So a good one.
Well, educators.
That means you were, yeah.
Yes, I was in all the pre-AP classes, the AP classes. I was doing the thing. But school is one of those things for me that I didn't mind school, so it was fine to do well, if that made sense. It was okay.
Got you. So the one thing, looking at your profile, especially your sophomore year, you would have these two feet jumps. So in your sophomore year, you're about 41, 42, and then you get to the regional meet and you go 44, basically 5 to get first place. So I look at your profile and I'm saying, well, she's a big game thrower, big meat thrower. Is that kind of how you summed yourself up, maybe?
No, yes, I would 100% agree with that. I think one of my biggest flaws was I would throw to my competition, if that makes sense, or I would throw with the people around me, and it was my biggest flaw. And you can see it too, how you're saying, sometimes it'd be kind of down there, and then we'd get to a big time meet and I'm like, oh, I want a PR today. But I'm also super motivated by like talent. So it was awesome. I think just to be surrounded by all those good people made you want to do better. And then I think also maybe around that time, I think it was one of those times when it was like, maybe this could be something that you could do later. So I think that, I think the training got more intensive and it became more of like the end of my sophomore year. I think that's when I like had shots at the house. I had a shot, like we lived right by the middle school. So yeah, I think I think that was a great way to say it. Like I'm a game time thrower.
Yeah. Were you motivated too? I'm curious, with those marks, you had to be getting a little early college interest, right?
Yeah, my first letter came my sophomore year. It was awesome. And it was from Stanford, but it was just one of those, the little, you know, the letters they send like, hey, we're a school, you're a thrower. Keep us in mind.
Yeah. So did you have aspirations? Were you thinking in the back that this is the dream of making the Olympics and, you know, being a U.S. champion? Did you have aspirations to go that far?
I definitely wanted that for sure. I mean, what kid does it? And I was in Texas too, so we have just great competition everywhere. And so, yeah, I definitely growing like freshman year, I was like, okay, I'm throwing. Sophomore year, I think then it was like, this is cool. I love this. I love the atmosphere. That's when I was at Texas. I went to Texas Relays my freshman year and did awful. But my sophomore year, I actually remember. And I remember being in there just like, this is awesome. Like this is so cool. Like the energy at track meets is always so electric. And I just loved it.
So do you remember what you threw at Texas Relays your sophomore year?
Oh, no. I could look it up. It's probably like 41 feet, probably. It's nothing good. Oh, cool.
You made finals. You got ninth place. So not bad as a freshman. So, and then you go to state, you get third in state at 42.6, but you had that PR your sophomore year of 44.5. So you're building and going up there, you know, getting into your junior year, getting third place, that had to leave you a mark. I mean, a bad taste in your mouth as a sophomore going into junior year, right? You were determined.
Oh, yeah. I think once I placed third at state, me and my parents were like, okay, you could be good. You just have to want to be good.
Yeah.
And
So was that the plan, is to initially, after you got bronze, was it to initially do summer track?
I think it was a big decision for us because we had gotten that letter in the mail and we were like, okay, schools are already looking at you. So if you want to do well, like we need to get you in track like apart from the school. Like you need to be doing stuff that's outside of the high school. You need to be getting looked at in other places. And so it was really like, what can we do to ensure that the most amount of people see me do what I can do?
So your mom y'all came up with kind of a marketing plan.
Kind of, I was assuming it was do you want to do this? Because they wouldn't have had me do it if I didn't want to. And I think P. Abby too was a big player in that as well, of like she wants to go throw in college. Well, she needs to be at these meets because all the girls that are going to get scholarships are going to be at these meets.
All right. So you definitely had some guidance in that. So
yeah.
So you get into your junior year and going into that spring, you're on a roll because you throw 44.6, 14.16 at the state for second. You go to the meet of champions, 14.57. You go to the region 12, you go 14.34 in summer, and then you win the national championship with 14.78. Girl, it was hot and you were hot.
It was a good year. And I remember that the JO, like I remember that meet when I threw the 14.78, like it was yesterday. It was so emotional. I don't know. It was in Jacksonville, Florida.
Oh, really? At North Florida University?
Yes. And so
you were hot, weren't you?
Oh, it was so hot. And I was doing all the things. And there was actually another girl there. I wish I could remember who it was because she's a great thrower. And I saw her in college too. But there was a girl there that was like projected to win it. And I think there's a school there watching her. and like people in the stands were like talking about me, not in like a nice way at all. But my parents, yeah, it was not nice. It wasn't good at all. But my mom and dad, or I think my dad came with me. My mom didn't come. My dad took me, and my dad was like, just wait, because we only had one more throw. I remember there was one throw left and I was in second. And like I don't think it was her family, but somebody in the stands was like, oh, she's got it in the bag. Like, it's hers, it's fine. And I think my dad like out loud was like, just wait, because I had made it to where I seated myself to go last.
Yeah.
So I was like ahead, but she was like, she had beat me in the few of the throws. And so then I had one left, and then I hit it on the last one. And my dad like jumped up after I like let go. And I was like, oh, that's going to be a good one. And then they measured it, and it was just.
So I got to ask the question, were you a reverse glide shopper? Did you reverse on the finish? Did you reverse?
Oh, yes. I was a little spinner, little fairy. Like I would throw it and then like spin around.
Okay.
Yeah, because
if it was so much power you had, I was wondering if Coach Abby taught you to non-reverse finish. That was the reason I was asking. So.
Oh yeah, I think I'm very clumsy. I think I would have fallen if I always had so much like momentum that if I didn't like reverse and like catch myself in the back, I was gonna fall.
Oh wow. So is that the one throw, that 48 feet throw? Was that the almost perfect throw for you? Do you still remember that feeling when it came out of your hand?
I remember I just remember the whole I remember because I would do this thing where I'd throw it up, hold it, and then I would like snap, like tap my leg a few times.
Yeah.
And it just all felt nice. And like sometimes I would get nervous, like going down and looking at my feet, but that time it just didn't feel like that. And I did remember I got across the ring like quick, like it was a quick, like bang, bang, bang. Like it all just felt very technically sound for like what you could be as a junior in high school, you know? So it felt nice. And I remember it left my hand, and I had like turned around or whatever, and I saw my dad like standing, and the feeling of it leaving was it just felt smooth, you know? I don't know. Weird.
Oh, wow.
Just knew it.
Wow. To be a junior and throw that far is really, really impressive. That's huge. To be on this, you see kids pop one every now and then, but you were pretty consistent for that, from that May to July, that 3 month time doing that for sure. So
thank you.
Amazing job. So
definitely a testament to my parents and all the stuff they did to ensure.
I'm for sure. Now, are you an only child, or do you have brothers or sisters?
I'm the oldest of 4 girls.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yep. So there could be some Miles girls throwing coming up. You never know.
Oh, really?
Yeah. My little sister, a beast, 5'9", already 16 strong. And then Willow, my youngest sister, is 12. Literally in our family group chat the other day, because I was asking them, I was like, hey, did I do this? Did I do this? Is my name in the board here? And they'd be like, my dad was like, yeah, but Willow's going to break it. My youngest sister, he was like, Kylie's going to break it in high school and Willow's going to break the middle school one. So don't worry about it.
Are they all going to Nelson?
Yeah. So my youngest sister's, the one below me is 21, Jayla. Jayla's done. She graduated. And then after hers, Kylie has 2 more years left at Byron. And then Willow is 13. So not even a freshman yet. So Willow's got time too, to really pop out there.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, we might have to recruit the little sister over.
Get it. Yeah. Get in there. Take her.
Put her down.
For sure. So going into your senior year, you're a big girl on campus. You've thrown the 48 feet. I'm sure you're getting a lot of national attention, especially for recruiting. So what's the recruiting process going like for you and your family going into your senior year at this time?
Oh, yeah. So it was super overwhelming. We would just get all of these random letters from really big name schools, and they would all be those like recruiting packets you get, and like sometimes they would be like, hey, or actually they couldn't talk to me going into my senior year until like after September, maybe.
Yeah, after August, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah. So they couldn't really say much. So we were getting all these letters, and we just didn't really know what to do. But it was awesome because it was just like, I'm going to go to college. Like that was really the, not that I mean, I'm sure I would have gone before, but it was one of those things where it's like, this is real. And like, I'm going to be able to pick where I go to college and someone's going to pay for it. And so that was just, I think, honestly, that was the thought that was going through my head, at least, was like, I'm going to go to college.
Wow. So walk us a little bit more in detail in that recruiting process.
Yeah.
So did you get your 5 visits and commit to TCU before your senior year track season, or did you do it during your track season of your senior year?
So I committed to TCU. I think I did it early because I remember I was in basketball season when I actually signed the paper to go to TCU. Yeah. So I think I took maybe 3 or 4 of my visits. I don't particularly remember. But I think I visited Rice and then somewhere and then TCU. And I committed to TCU. I verbally committed to TCU at the end of my visit. And then I went to Mississippi State after, which I don't think you're supposed to do that. So don't do that.
All right. So talk to us about your first impression of Coach Kennison. And the first time you talked to him on the phone or met him face to face. You know, did you talk fishing? What did y'all talk about?
Coach K. I love Coach K. Coach K was just, I remember we would talk on the phone and his voice, like, you know, before you meet him, he's just got this great voice. And he was always so like polite and so like, he never, like some schools that I talked to would be like, you need to decide before here. Like others, like there are tons of people that we're looking at or blah, 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 which was just not true. But they'd be like, we want you to make a decision now. And like Coach K never made me feel that way. I can't remember if he came to my house. He might have come to my house.
Okay.
I'd have to ask my parents. I don't remember, or maybe that was I think it was Coach, I don't think he coaches at UNT anymore, but the UNT throws coach, I think, came to my house.
Oh,
and
really?
Then, yeah, because they're super close. They're like 20 minutes from me. Like like when I would go practice at Coach Abby's, like they would be across the way doing whatever. But yeah, Coach K is just, he was such a great human. And then whenever we finally got to meet him in person, it was just, I was super against going to school in Texas. So like,
we're looking to go out of state.
I was super against going to school in Texas. And then I met Coach K and he took me on the tour and he just talked to me about like his intentions for my throws career and what he saw me being able to do in the future. And I fell in love with TCU and committed on my visit.
Had you ever been on campus prior to that?
No. No.
Oh, really?
Yeah, super new. I think I might have gone once for a football game with my friend just because I knew TCU was looking at me, but I'd never been before that at all.
Oh, wow. Wow. So you made the decision to commit and sign before your senior year. So that had to kind of give you peace of mind that you didn't have to worry about the recruiting anymore, that you could just go focus on your senior year.
Yeah, I was just, I think I can look too. Let me look at the day that I went on my TCU visit because I really am interested on when I decided or what time of the year that was. Okay, I committed October 13th, 2015.
Oh, so in the fall.
So in the fall. So yeah, I must have been going on visits the month like right before then because they were pretty quick like to happen. And then I remember after I committed, I went to Mississippi. And I was like, yeah, no thanks. And then, so all of my offers were fulls. And then Mississippi State tried to offer me less than a full, but I had gone on that visit alone. So I wasn't with my parents to be like, hey, what's going on? So he the head coach sat me in an office, told me what he was offering me. I went to talk to my parents and they were like, no. Like my mom was like, every other school's offering you a full. Like if he can't offer you a full, then like you're not going there.
I'm kind of curious in your recruiting. You're a one event person, and it's shot put, which is the money event. Did anybody talk to you and said, we see you as a hammer thrower? You see you as a weight thrower with your size and stature as well?
Coach K a little bit was like, we're going to try it out. We'll try out everything.
Okay.
But the other schools were mainly, and also it would be helpful to note too that the year that I was getting recruited was the year all the Title IX stuff happened. So there was a lot more money for girls that year than there had been in previous years. So a lot of schools actually didn't take too big an issue with the idea of me being just a shot putter. And I think too, at that point in time, I had been number 1 in the state of Texas for like 2 years.
Yeah.
So I think they were kind of like, if you don't want to throw something else, we're not going to make you, but it would be cool if you would like to try.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool.
Well, I was looking at your discus in high school. You picked that up. You went from a 102 your senior year to a 129.
I was going to be my next question. Where did that come from?
Is that the glide discus technique?
Oh yeah, gliding from the back. No, I'm just kidding. The discus was really, Coach Tweedy made me do it. He was like, "You're gonna throw the disc. Like, stop." Like, and then it became a conversation of like, can you get our team points? Yes or no? And the answer was yes. And so they were like, "You're gonna throw the disc." And so I threw the disc. And I remember that last disc mark I have, I think I gave. So we were at the track meet, right? And I think it was maybe district regionals. I don't know if I made it to regionals or not, but
yeah, you did your senior.
I did. Okay, so this is at this track meet. So at regionals, there was a girl there who was like actually a discus thrower. I don't remember who it was, but she actually threw disc. So I think I'm pretty sure I gave her my shoes because something happened with her shoes, and I was like, I don't get in there. Like, the disc is for me. So I think I threw in shoes that had no traction. I had these shoes with like these Nike throw shoes with a green bottom, and they had no traction. But I'm pretty sure I gave this girl my shoes and was like, you can use these. Like, you need them more than me. But
a competitor out.
Yeah. And the disc was just, I wasn't, full disclosure, the discus state was the same day as my prom. And so it wasn't that I was going to throw the meet by any means, but it was like, if I can help you out, like, it doesn't hurt me to not go to state in the disc.
Because I'm going to prom.
Yeah, I'm like,
parents know this because you just told the whole world that.
I just told the whole world, and I'm pretty sure, I think they all knew. Like, because I remember Coach Tweedy and Coach Miller being like, don't please throw the disc. I just didn't like it. I didn't like it. Like, I don't like that. Like, I just didn't, I never was super, I just was never super fond of the disc.
Gotcha.
So he asked about hammer. So how did that go? Did you pick up a hammer and a weight?
I did try. So maybe my freshman year, sophomore year of college, Coach K had me try the hammer and the weight out for a few days. And so you know how you're supposed to like this way? I did it backwards. Yeah, no, it's very confusing. I did it and I let go at the end. And he was looking at me and I was looking at him and I was like, that just felt really weird. And he goes, I don't even know how you just did that, but you did it backwards. And like, he was like, so maybe no hammer for you, but the weight, I did like the weight.
Yeah.
You did the weight?
You did.
I did the weight. I never competed in the weight, but we did practice it a bit and I liked it. But I think it got to that point and once I had gotten into college, like, my back started giving out a little bit. So this whole time I'm competing on like not the greatest back, and just that like motion was just kind of painful. So we were just like, we'd rather you be a really good shot putter than.
I want to bring you back. She went ahead. I want to bring you back to your year because you win state, and you win state 4 years in the shot put. And I want to go back to your junior year where you throw the 48 feet. And you had a legendary shot put competition with the Gordon girl The one.
Oh, Mia Gordon. She's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. And she got you. She went 48.8 and you were like 48.25. And so that junior year really catapulted you to really have a really good motivational senior year. And of course, you signed with TCU as well. My question is, the relief of winning your state and finally walking away with that gold medal senior year had to be the icing on the cake for you, right?
I had a terrible throw that won it actually, and I was that kid that would beat themselves up. So I won the state meet, but I wasn't happy with how I performed. So
Really?
I was not happy with how I performed at all. And so I got there and like, I remember kind of like standing there at the end, just like, I won. But then I like saw the mark and I was like, dang it. Like I wish, because I had some crazy warm-up throws. Like I'm pretty sure Coach K was there and like there were people there and I had some good warm-up throws and then I just did not perform the way I wanted to. And it was a little upsetting, but also kind of like we're finally going home with the gold. So that's all that is really matters. But yeah. In your senior year, you won every meet and got second in 2 meets. So, oh, cool.
Right.
Yeah.
So only second places you got were at the Texas Relays. And really, I guess this would count. Stuart would make sure it would count it.
Yeah.
Was at the Meet of Champions where you got second.
Yeah.
And you went
And those were big
44.
throws, yeah.
And you went 44.6. So your senior year, you were hot. You were ready to roll. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious, why didn't you go to Nationals, Outdoor Balance, New Balance, or any of those big time invitational meets, maybe before your senior year or even afterwards? Did you do any of that?
I went to New Balance Indoor Nationals my junior year.
Oh, you did? Okay.
After I won the JO, because I won the region and then I won the actual championship. And then after that, they invited me to the New Balance Indoor Nationals. I went there and I didn't place. Well, I did not place. 20th is not placing. And I went and looked at the stats the other day and it was so upsetting because if I had just thrown what I had been throwing the whole season, I would have been up there. But yeah, woulda, coulda, shoulda, who knows? But so we did indoor nationals that day. And then I think my senior year I had signed, but I was also really burnt out. So my senior year just and I don't remember exactly the time, but it was just really overwhelming for me, I think, too, like graduating high school, finishing, like saying goodbye to basketball, there's just a lot, I think, that felt really big at the time, but I was a little burnt out. I think, is really why I didn't do anything my senior year summer.
Gotcha. So you're going to your freshman year to Coach Kennison, and I do want to point out the fact that you come in with a big class. You come in with Ryan Camp and Isaiah Singer. What was Isaiah's last name? Rogers. That's it. Excuse me. Which were very highly talented, big time throwers, and you're coming in with that class. So that had to be a big class. And for TCU, that's probably the best recruiting class for throwing that's been brought in a lot of years. That had to be exciting to be a part of that. It
was super awesome. And I still talk to Isaiah. So, and it was like being able, because Ryan was doing a lot of the disc stuff. So sometimes he wasn't really around us when we were throwing, we'd be out there at the same time, but shot disc, he'd be at the disc ring. Being able to train with Isaiah definitely made me better. Isaiah is one of those kids who all he wants to do is be great. And he will do whatever he needs to do to be great. And being able to train with him was awesome because it rubs off on you, and his parents were super involved as well. And they rub off on you and they just want you to be awesome as well. So yeah, it was definitely a big year, and it was super, super comforting almost to be able to come in and know that there are people there that just want to be great.
Yeah.
The Texas Track and Field Coaches Association. Coaches education through our annual winter clinic, the state's #1 track and field clinic. Texas Track and Field promotion. our postseason Meet of Champions, lobbying efforts with the state's governing bodies, the Texas Track and Field Hall of Fame. If it involves Texas Track and Field, we're at the forefront. Join our mission in continuing to make Texas Track and Field the nation's best.
Yeah, and you be a part of that, kind of the same mentality that you had with that.
Yes, yeah.
Now, what was it like with the living situation? Did you have a roommate? Who was your roommate your freshman year? Did you stay with another track person?
So I was the only freshman girl thrower, I believe. So I was alone. So they matched up all the sprinters and stuff. And then I actually roomed with an equestrian. And sounds weird, but also I'm so obsessed with horses these days. Like they really set me on this. Like it was awesome. Like being paired up. So the way that TCU, they have like a dorm called Moncrief, and it's like the one closest to kind of the facilities and stuff. And so they'll try to put you in there, but it's never guaranteed, And so there are these rooms, and it's like your room, a bathroom that connects your room to the other room. So I had two sprinters over here, our bathroom, and then me and the equestrian. And it was awesome.
That's cool. That was cool. And it's close enough that your parents could still come watch you throw all the time and do all that type of stuff. Yeah. And you come out of the blocks your freshman year or in indoor, and you're right around that 46, 47 range. So you didn't have a big drop off, from your senior year to your freshman year of college. Was that because of just the mental fortitude that you had, the drive to be successful at that time? Because some people are like, oh my God, I'm a freshman in college, I'm intimidated because I'm going into the Big 12 type thing.
I think it was really just being like kind of how you were saying earlier, just being surrounded by people who want to do well, like being in the weight room, love the weight room, being in the weight room, and then like hearing people hype you up there. So now you like know you're strong. Like I think that first indoor was kind of one of those like I am like stronger than I've ever been. I'm in a new environment, and like I want to show Coach K that like they made the right decision giving me a full ride, because it's super rare for a single event thrower to get a female also to get a full. So it's kind of just this like, I need to make sure that that this was the right investment.
Awesome. So we have to turn the corner. So you throw the PR 47.6, okay, but you started having some back problems, like you said earlier. When do you remember when those started kind of flaring up and giving you some problems, and kind of what advice you got from your parents about the back situation?
Yeah. So, well, before the back, I tore my shoulder.
Oh, really?
So I tore my labrum freshman year. And it was during a Christmas break practice. So we tore the labrum, that happened, rehabbed it, outdoor, I medically redshirted for the outdoor season. Did that, rehabbed. And then the next year came back stronger, and it was around that year. So I competed the whole 2 seasons, indoor, outdoor, but it was really around like maybe the start of outdoor that we were kind of like, okay, this is causing you a lot of pain. We don't know, like there would be days where I would just like sob through practice because my back would just hurt so bad. And like there'd be times when Coach K would see me, he'd be like, go home. Like he'd just be like, go to the training room, go home. Like you can't, or like things like that. But it was probably around my junior year or my sophomore year after I had torn my shoulder, when we were kind of like, this is like kind of serious. And then we had gotten an MRI, and it looked like kind of bad, but it wasn't to the point where like I couldn't compete. I couldn't just rehab. So I was in there a lot, like getting hamstring massages, loosen up my low back, like ice bath, stim, doing all the things. And then I had I was like in and out of the doctor's office because, you know, they had like a doctor they had you go see. So I was there a lot. And then it was my conference meet at Baylor.
Uh-huh.
I was on the bus and our athletic trainer texted me and said, hey, if you start to lose control of your bowel functions, or if you like can't do this, you need to let us know. I'd gotten an MRI before the meet, and I guess they had gotten the results back while we were like traveling. Yeah. And they were like, we're gonna let you throw today, but you have to let us know what, like, if something feels off. And I think their thought process was like, this is gonna be her last track meet, and it's her first outdoor conference, so we're gonna let her have it. And I mean, nothing happened to me then, but after that, it was like a bloop.
Well, did that play with your psyche any? Because getting that on the bus and you're like, I got to go out to compete, you know?
I think it was just one of those things where it's like, I knew my back was kind of like deteriorating, if that made sense. But I think that was the text that really was like, okay, like this is actually probably pretty serious. And like, it didn't ruin my psyche. It almost like did the opposite of like, okay, let's embrace whatever is going to happen today. Like, we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. My family's here watching me throw. Like, let's just see what happens today. And it was like some of our seniors last meet as well. So it was like an emotional track meet anyways. So it was definitely a scary text to get, like, but it didn't like ruin my day, if that makes sense.
Gotcha. So you go on to compete. So afterwards, the following day, did they sit you down and kind of tell you the results of your MRI and kind of maybe what caused you the deterioration?
Yeah, so I don't remember exactly when it happened. I think it was like maybe like a few weeks after, or 2-ish or something. I don't know. But I had to go see the doctor because he was supposed to tell me about the MRI results or whatever. And so I remember sitting in there, and he didn't really tell me the MRI results. It was more of like a, hey, I'm not going to clear you to compete for TCU. He was like, I'm just not going to do it. He was like, I can't in good conscience clear you to throw when, like, he was like, you have one of the worst backs I've seen in like 10 years. Like, you cannot throw for this school anymore. He was like, you can go, he even said too, he was like, you can go try to throw somewhere else and see if one of their doctors will let you, or see if they can work with you. He was like, but my medical, like, I'm not letting you throw. And I remember, say again.
Did you consider going someplace else or to get a second
for like 3 seconds? And then I called my parents and I was like, hey, he's telling me like I can't throw. Like, obviously I was distraught. And my mom, her actual first comment was like, do you want to be able to walk when you're old? She was like, do you want to be able to have kids? Like, do you want to? And like back then I was like, no, like, I don't care. Like, I want to throw a shot. Like, I don't care about these kids. Like, I was like, I want to throw a shot put. And so my parent, like, there's no way my parents were going to let me even try to transfer somewhere else. And also I was on a full. So, and like, it was an injury that was like sustained like while I was at TCU. So it would kind of be stupid to go somewhere else because then I'd have to pay for it, if that makes sense. So yeah, TCU paid for both my back surgeries, my shoulder surgery. Like, so they really did me right in that aspect. Yeah.
So was that conference meet, that last meet where you got the text while you're on the bus, was that the last throw you ever took?
Yep. That was my last throw ever.
Wow.
And I didn't really know.
You didn't really know, but that's you kind of knew, but you didn't know at the same time.
Yeah, I kind of knew, but like nobody told, like, by the text, I was also so delusional. Like, I was like, I'm Superman, I can do whatever, like, my back's fine. And so like I got the text and I was like, oh, like, whatever, we'll rehab it. Next season will be better. And then, yeah, it was, so like I kind of knew. And I think at the end, like, because I don't think I made it to finals. So I think after my last throw, I was kind of just like, that might have been my last throw ever. but I don't think it really hit me until after. And I was like, that was my last throw ever.
Oh, wow. Do you remember having a conversation with Kennison or anything that he said, when it was over or kind of leading up to those prelim throws?
Oh, I don't, Coach K was always just so like, you know what to do. You know, like, you know what you're doing out there. Like, just do what we came here to do. Coach K is he's a great coach. Like, I love the way that Coach K like speaks to his athletes and talks to them. And Coach K is one of those guys who like recognizes that like sometimes not everybody can be coached the same.
Yeah.
And so he's just a really great and thoughtful coach. And so he never made me feel like, get it, like, you better make this one count, like it's your last one, like things like that. Like, he was always just like, we came here to throw things far. I'd had to like paraphrase so I didn't cuss, but like, yeah.
So I'm sure someone who's been focused about throwing all the time, you kind of maybe had to come up with a new game plan, right?
Oh my God. Yeah.
You're not an athlete anymore. You're just a student, so kind of walk us through, because you're also someone I get who's very determined and focused. So what was kind of your mindset kind of in this regroup going down a different path now?
Yeah, I'm not even going to lie. That was some of the hardest. That was probably the hardest transition I've made in my adult life thus far. Like, just this idea of like, I have been this athlete for so long, and for me it was like, people value me because I can throw this ball far, and now I can't. So like, who am I? Like, what am I? Who am I? What's going to happen to me? Like, what am I going to do now? And so the cool thing about TCU is because I signed a 4-year, I got to keep my scholarship all 4 years, but whenever you get hurt and medically retire, you have to essentially like work for your scholarship. So I went up and sat at the desk in compliance, and it was super awesome. I loved it up there. But so everybody up there, I didn't know. Also, side note, I came in a nursing major and then switched halfway through, and I was English political science with a crim minor when this all was happening. And so I'm up there and talking to everybody in compliance, and I'm just like, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life. Like, I don't know, like, this is my major. Like, you can't do anything with an English major. Like, I don't know. My other major is political science. Like, what am I supposed to do with these things? And then a crim minor also, I was like, okay, I'll go to the FBI. Like, in my head, I was like, I'm going to FBI. And then one of my teachers and the people in athletics as well, a lot of them had like law degrees, and I had no idea. And someone was like, why don't you go to law school? And I was like, I can't go to law school. Like, I don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to be an attorney. Like, no. I was like, I like sports. And he was like, well, I have a law degree. And I was like, but you're working in sports. And he was like, yeah, I get it. And I was like, oh.
Who was the gentleman?
I do not remember his name, but I will look him up. He is awesome. Awesome. He would just walk by every now and then, and I was always so afraid of him. And then he'd be like, what are you doing up here? Like, everyone up there was so kind and so nice. And so
that put you down the path to go get your law degree.
Yes, I talked to him, and then I remember having a meeting with my one of my English professors, Dr. Manning. He sat with me in like a coffee shop outside of like right by a campus, and I was like, hey, I think I want to go to law school. And he was like, okay, so what do we need to do? He was like, you need to do this, you need to do this, like, this needs to happen. And I remember he just like told me all the things, and he was like, don't wait, because I was really, really late to the like law school game. It was such an impulse decision, and it was like, okay, I guess I'll go. I need to do something after this. I'll go to law school. And so and this was when like COVID was like kind of getting big. So the end of my senior year was completely remote. And that was the time when I was studying for the LSAT, and doing that stuff. And so I didn't really study that hard for the LSAT. My mom was like, it was my mom's fault. Not me. My mom was like, just take it. Like, she was like, just take it. You're smart. Yeah. She was like, just take it. So I took it once. It worked out. I took it once and I didn't get like the best score. And then I took it again and I was like, oh, we can go somewhere with this. And so I actually applied to all of the law schools I did based off like location, their affiliation with sports, and just overall like difference from Texas. I just wanted to be somewhere different. I was like, if I'm going to pay all this money to do something, might as well like go somewhere new. But yeah, it was the
track heaven of the world in the U.S. at the University of Oregon Law School.
Yeah. And it was such, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, it was almost like a healing experience, because for a while, like, I didn't want to be around a track. I didn't want to talk to my teammates. Like, I didn't want to look at a shot put. Like, I just was so down and out about not being able to throw. And then I moved to Eugene, Tracktown, USA. It's everywhere. And then, believe it or not, the woman who I rented my house from, so I lived in a tiny house, a nice little 210 square feet. So it was my tiny house and then a big house next to it. And so the owner was a former heptathlete at Oregon, and her daughter lived in the big house and is on the track team currently. And so it was almost like this, maybe you don't want to be around track, but you're about to be around track and we'll see. And it was like the greatest healing like experience ever, of just like, you don't have to hate this thing because it didn't work out for you. Like, there's so much beauty in the sport, you know?
Wow, that's a beautiful story. As to how your life brought you to TCU because of a 4K ball, and you had some adversity, you know, and you still kind of found your way into track and field, being in the place that you're at, you know, wanting to become a lawyer. So how's law school going? Have you finished?
I have 1 year left.
Okay.
Law school's been going really well. My first year, I had the opportunity to intern with Nike in their legal department at their headquarters down in Beaverton, but I was remote because COVID. But then last semester, I was working with the Arizona Diamondbacks. And then right now, I'm with Dutch Bros Coffee. I don't know if y'all, Dutch Bros, it's coming to Texas. They're around.
Coming to Texas, yeah.
Yeah. And so I love it. I'm trying.
Dutch Bros right across from campus at Eugene. The Dutch Bros,
Oh, yes.
A coffee guy, and one time we were leaving and it was the only place open like at 5 a.m.
That's amazing. Yes. Get in there. Get in the Dutch Bros. It's going super well. So I've tried really hard to keep my connection to the sports world strong. So I tutor in athletics, and sometimes I work in compliance sometimes and just help out. With
the athletes.
Yes, I tutor the athletes. Yes.
Okay.
And it's awesome. It's one of the most, it's so cool to do.
So have you had a chance, have you met Jada? The
yes.
shot put Jada and Kirby?
Crystal, I see all the time, and we always talk because we kind of figured out, like, I think she was at some of the meets I was at as a senior, and she was like, I feel like I've seen you throw. And I was like, so we sat in athletics one time while I was up there tutoring. I tutor her friends, and she's like, Taylor Chosick. She's an amazing athlete, and she goes to UO, and she's the girl who lives next to me. She's friends with Crystal. And so I would see Crystal sometimes up in athletics, and I'd be like, hey, she'd be like, hey, we gotta, and I was like, okay, let's chat. And so we're starting to talk, and she was like, you know this school? And I was like, yeah, do you know this school? And then we were like, where's your region? And then we finally were like, we were at some of the same track meets, I think.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah, I coached her going into her junior, senior year, and then she signed to go up there to throw and stuff. So we keep tabs on her. But she's just had some injury issues as well.
Yep, I saw her. That.
she'll get back into it and stuff. So I love the fact that you're still around track and field, and it's meant to be for you. So with the law degree, I have to ask, are you looking to be a sports agent? Are you looking to do something like that?
So my goal right now is to be involved in the sports and entertainment world in some capacity. I don't think I want to be an agent, but I do think I want to help athletes in some way, shape, or form, and whether that be through some of the NIL stuff that's coming out, some of the later on down the line, like I don't know how, but I want to be involved in athletics in some way, shape, or form.
What's your opinion of the name, image, and likeness? What's your opinion of that? Because they didn't have that when you were there. Of course, we're former college athletes. They didn't have it when we were there.
I know they gypped us. No, I'm just kidding. I think it's really interesting. I think from like a legal perspective, it's interesting just because there's so much that's unknown. But then from like a former athlete standpoint, it does worry me a little for smaller sports. Like what's going to happen for like, I don't know, me, like what's happening for the TCU female shot putter that's not really, well known, or that is well known in the TCU bubble, but maybe not nationally. Like, what are we going to get? Are women's sports going to get left behind? Are sports that don't generate money going to get left behind? Like, what's going to happen? I think it's more, but I do think that it's awesome that there's a way now for student athletes to profit off themselves when schools were doing it for so long. And one thing I say a lot too, especially like up in the tutor room, because you get athletes from all walks of life, is like 80% of like NCAA like athletes like come from poverty, like below the poverty line. So it's like now we're giving kids an opportunity to provide for themselves in a way that they've probably never been able to before, because they took the time to invest in themselves and be good at a sport in this capacity. So I think that's kind of awesome. But
here's from the education side of me. So you talk kids being in poverty. Is someone teaching those kids what to do with that money? That's the, they get
and I think
all of a sudden now you get this money, is someone teaching them how to spend that money and save be smart.
Right. And I know TCU has TCU has a Think NIL. So TCU is doing their own thing. I haven't looked into it too aggressively just because I don't go there anymore. So I don't see all of it. But there's also like Division Street with I think that's Phil Knight and Nike. Don't quote me. I have no idea. But I know that certain schools are trying to implement ways to help their student athletes, and also the compliance departments are trying, I know, to just vigorously to figure out what's going on. How do we protect our student athletes? How is the NCAA defining certain terms? Because like the term booster, like being defined by NCAA, like what does that mean? Like, are people still boosters? Like what's going on?
Great point. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, there's a lot. The whole legal stuff is jargon.
Well, you're the smart person to figure it all out and make the rulings on it for sure, or at least argue the case. So have you talked to Coach Kennison lately in the last couple of weeks or months or so?
I have not talked to Coach K lately, but I am an active Facebook liker. Anytime he posts something, I'm like.
Gotcha. Okay.
But,
you said you still talk to Isaiah, right?
I talk to him sometimes. Yeah, he's a cool guy.
Is he in Fort Worth? Where's he at these days?
No, Isaiah left TCU I think he left our junior year. He transferred. And then I think he went to West Virginia. And then I think he went somewhere. I don't know if he's somewhere else now, but not sure. I think I talked to him last year or sooner sometime. But yeah, he was still competing and doing the things, and he still posts.
What about Coach Tweedy? Have you talked to them lately?
I've not talked to them, but like I said, I have three little sisters who are at the high school. So like I hear from everybody, like I hear about the things, but I personally have not, because I really like after college, I like uprooted my whole life and just moved to Oregon. I got in May, I think, I got in really late, and I think I had like a month to figure out like where I was going to live, what was happening. And then once I found that, I came up like 2 weekends before school started, or a week before school started, and just I'm here. I've been here since.
You're here. So I'm curious, would the mature lawyer give the young junior advice? What advice would that be? Just a little bit of reflection now. What advice would you give yourself, maybe the younger high school version?
I would tell myself so many things. So many things. I think two of the biggest things would be like, cherish this, like embrace it. Like, I remember being so caught up in like what's next? Like, how do I do better? Like, what do I do now? Like, what's next? And I wish that I would have like, you just won the state track meet. Like, you just won the junior Olympics. Like, you are 16. Like, I was 17 when I was a freshman in college. So I was like 15, 16, 17 while all this was happening. And I just wish I had the mental capacity at that age to be like, this is like a core memory you are making right now. Like, you're going to remember this forever. So make the most of it. And then I think the other thing that I would tell myself is like, work harder, like work harder. Like it is not supposed to be fun. Like, some things take grit, and like, I wish that like maybe my senior year, I would have just like really, really dug in like a little bit more. But yeah, I just would tell myself like, don't be afraid of a little hard work and some dirt, and embrace the moment. Like, I just wish I would have soaked it all up more.
Right. That's great advice for any of our young listeners listening, as well as cherish the moments that you're doing. You don't have to be great at 16, but at the same time too, what you put into something is what you get out of something, and you got to work into it as well. So
100%.
I'm curious. So there's a lot of great track meets going on in Eugene. The Worlds are coming up. NCAA.
Yes.
Have you went into the stadium and watched any of the throwing, just to kind of watch any of it?
So
Olympic trials or any U.S. championships?
yes. So when the Olympic trials happened and I was around, I didn't go in, but the law school is right across the street. Yeah. And if you're at the top floor of the law school, you can like see you can't see all the way in, and you can't really see the towers right there, but you can see the scoreboard and stuff in the stadium. Yeah. And I was like outside when Ryan Krauser had that crazy throw.
Oh, the world's record.
Yeah, that was the way that the street was electric, like it was just electric there. And then I've been in Hayward a few times just because I'm not anymore, the vice president of our sports and entertainment law forum. And like Taylor is my roommate. So we did a little tour of the facility with the team with the members of our club. And but yeah, so one of my good friends and teammates he's jumping at the world meet coming up, and he just won the championship a few weeks ago, and he's going to compete in the world. So I'm trying to see if I can get in there to see him jump, but I don't know. It's up there.
Awesome. It's going to be crazy around there, I would bet.
Oh yeah, they shut down like the whole, like all the streets are shut down, tents are out, like it's all walking. Like Eugene is, if I know y'all have been there, but if anybody else hasn't been, like you have to go just one. Like if you are a track and field lover, you have to go just once. Just one. Like walking into Hayward is like, athlete or not, like you walk into Hayward and you're just like, holy shit. Like,
yeah.
Like
stayed there the whole month of, what did we decide? I could have been there all of June for the NCAAs, and then we had kids go to the Nike Nationals, and then I could have gone to all these things. I was like, why can't I I'd have known her.
I know,
You could have stayed at the tiny house.
You might have roommates in that little 200 square foot.
My little tiny guy.
Hayward Field, I could watch. I don't care. I could watch the 5,000. I could just sit and watch track meet all day long.
So is the plan after you finish out? Are you plan on staying in Oregon? Is that the plan?
That's funny you asked that. I literally today was like, what am I going to do after school? I think the plan for me right now is just to do whatever I need to do to ensure that I will be the best attorney I can be. So if that means taking a job in Oregon, I'll take a job in Oregon, but it's really going to be whoever is willing to hire me after I finish. It's so competitive here or everywhere, I guess, just for law jobs and then specifically like legal jobs in sports. It's just so competitive. And so I have no plan for after except for that. I know that I'm just going to have to work really hard these next few months to make it work, you know?
So you really could get a job at a college somewhere in compliance or at a professional team or like the Limitless, whatever you would. Okay.
Yep. It could be anywhere. And like, some places like don't really want to hire someone fresh out of school because rightfully so, like we're baby attorneys. We don't know anything. And so some people don't really want to hire young attorneys. So you need to get some experience. And so that's just, we're all kind of aware that that's what's going on. And so we're just, you know, trying to make myself the most marketable for firms or for teams or for anyone that wants me, you know.
Wow. Awesome. Well, man, what a great story. We love you to death. What a great personality you have. And, you know, I love the trials and tribulations that you had some adversity and things didn't work out the way that you probably planned going into that university, but you've made the best of it and still your life has came full circle and you're still in sports and you're still definitely involved in track and field. So I applaud you for that. So you made something from nothing into a really positive situation for sure.
Thank you.
How proud are your education parents? Are they just didn't go into education probably, but
they know. My mom loves to say that if I was a teacher, I would get fired. She knows. Yeah, she knows. They love it. I think my mom was a little bit like hesitant whenever I stopped nursing or like being a nursing major. And I think also, so I think too, when I was getting recruited, my mom wanted me to go to Rice and my dad wanted me to go to TCU. So it was kind of this like back and forth. So I think now that I'm in law school and it's like working out, they're like, oh, good.
Yeah, perfect.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but I know they're super proud. My dad like posts my like stuff on his Facebook and he's doing the things.
Oh, he's retired from education, is that right?
No, so he is actually getting his master's right now. And he's also teaching. So my dad used to teach special education. I don't know if there's a new word for that. I don't know. But okay, yeah. So my dad used to teach special education and he just has this like gift. Like he is just so.
Is he at Nelson High or still in Byron or ISD?
Right now, I don't know where he is because he switched really quick, but my mom is the principal at Eaton High School.
Oh, is she really?
Yeah, my mom's at Eaton. And
That's
so
a beautiful school.
Beautiful. Their weight room is so nice.
Yeah.
So nice.
They're doing 2 new shot put rings out there too. So I know where that idea is coming from.
Oh, that's
they used to had a ring and it was kind of hilly and it was kind of get muddy and they would throw in the grass. And now they're actually getting the caliche and the cement boundaries.
Oh, yes. Love that.
I'm sure she did.
I'm going to ask her later. I'm going to be like, hey, Mom. But yeah, my dad was he wasn't at Northwest. He was at Medlin for a bit and then he was at Tidwell and now he's at an elementary school. But he's still in the district. They'll probably be in Northwest for forever. But yeah, they're both like 2 of the most selfless and like loving humans. So they're like the type of people they like walk in the room and everybody loves them. Like they're just great. And like, it's awesome to be able to see them interact with like their students that way. And then to also know like they gave up so much for me to get to where I'm at right now. And so it's just awesome. They're awesome.
Where did your dad play college football at?
ULM. They both played at ULM.
Oh, in Louisiana Monroe. Really?
Yes. Yeah. My mom likes to say that my dad, she likes to say this could be the story. I don't know. But my mom says my dad was checking her out after softball practice. And then here I am. But
so what year was your dad at? Was your dad there when it was Northeast Louisiana?
yes. Yeah. They were there before they switched to ULM.
We would have played against each other.
Oh my gosh. His name's Charles Miles.
I played at Northwestern State in Natchitoches.
Oh, that's awesome. Wait, that's crazy. You're going to have to get Willow over there and then you guys can chat about the football.
There we go. Hey, I'm going to recruit. If she's like you, she's going to sign up tomorrow.
Oh, they're all going to be better athletes than I am. All of them. They will be. They're all taller than me. When I was their age, like Willow's the same height as me now. And like Kylie, taller than me, stronger than me. Like they're all going to far surpass anything I ever thought I could do.
Wow. We'll definitely reach out to you. So thank you so much for being on. What an amazing story. Just go be great. I know, 10 years from now, whatever you're doing, it's going to be great. So I might need a divorce attorney, so
conflict of interest.
Damn it, come on.
That's awesome. No, y'all are awesome. Y'all are awesome. Your podcast is awesome. Like, thank you for taking the time to like talk with me. Like, it's awesome.
Yeah, awesome.
We enjoy doing this. We get to talk to just a variety of people from anybody who has a great story. And it's always just, I usually end up being like this. I'm like, oh wow. At the end, he gets mad at me because I don't ask questions. I'm like, because I'm just listening.
But what a great inspiration you are, because I train a lot of high level girls, and they have aspirations of getting that D1 scholarship and going to the Olympics and all that type of stuff. But sometimes too, it just doesn't work out the way you think it's going to work out. And you're the epitome of, okay, it didn't work out. Let's pull our pants up. Let's regroup and let's go make something out of this. And you did that. And you're a hell of a person. Yeah. And it's also, you could have went anywhere and you went to Oregon. So the connection of track and your love for track is always there too, because that's your root. That's your foundation. That's right.
It's one of those, like, don't forget where you came from. And like, I wish too that someone would have told me that like, it's going to be okay. Like track will end, but like, it'll be okay.
Yeah.
And all the lessons you learned through all of that are carrying you through law school.
100%. That's something so like, had I not been an athlete at the level that I was, like law school would have kicked my butt. Like just the and that's all, like everyone should remember, like all of the things that we are being taught as young athletes are things that will translate into your daily life. And that's why like employers like hiring athletes, like former athletes and people who have like just different. It's just a different mindset. And so,
you understand that team concept, and employers want that. They want to know you can work on a team and grit and hard work and adversity and all those things.
Yes.
Awesome.
Well, Leilyn, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you guys.
Bye-bye. Take care. God bless you.
Bye, y'all. Y'all have a good day.
I thank Leilyn for being on. Just what a good girl. What a bright future. Fun story. We said this, you can't stress the fact that sometimes in life stuff does not work out the way you dream of and the way your hopes are. And, you go there and you're this big time recruit, and all of a sudden the injury kind of stops that, and then you kind of have to readjust and you have to have a new game plan to move into something else. I love the fact that she's actually at Oregon, and it's almost kind of, but it also kind of reminds her daily of track and field, and that's a part of her past. So instead of being moaning and woe is me mentality, I lost my throwing career, what better just to remind you of the positive that you had in track and field and what it did for you to kind of put you in that situation. So really cool. Really
I loved how she said too, when you asked her about advice, to cherish the moment.
Yeah.
And to, I can think of some of our athletes who,
Cherish the
they
moment.
don't stop and say, okay, so maybe that wasn't a PR, or maybe that wasn't best throw, but I just did this now at this level, on this stage, on this day. Okay, let's stop for a minute and be like, and then, and then yes, keep wanting more and fighting for more, but take a second to just soak it all in.
Yes, and to have
great stuff.
good roots from our mom and dad
Yeah.
and the influence that they had on our life and stuff like that. So thanks again.
Our sponsors again, Texas Track and Field Coach Association. Go to ttfca.org for all the information with track season. 4throws.com. Use the code TalkingThrows10 to get 10% off when you're looking for implements. Porta Circle. We used to say it's cold out here, so you need a Porta Circle. It's hot, so you need a Porta Circle inside somewhere. Not because it's cold, because it's too hot to be outside. So porta-circle.com. Use the code TalkingThrows10. They're very awesome to have. You can do drills and anything all the time. If you're in Austin, Ready Up Athletic Development, go check out Zach Phillips. Follow him on Instagram at readyup80.com.
Hello, Talking Throws Texas podcasters. I'm Bruce Caldwell. I'm here today to introduce the Fiber Sport Discus. Yes, many of you thought I only made great vaulting poles. I have been bringing quality discuses to the throwers' hands for over 40 years. First as Cantabrian USA representative, then for the past 10 years as the Nelco discus distributor. I introduced the yellow-plated discus for the plastic's best durability. If your Fiber Sport discus breaks, we replace it. Our studies have reached into the science of using a wind tunnel and adding microchips to the discus to find the spin, the gravity, the flight stability of the discus. We have found it's not about rim weight anymore. It's more about creating a balanced stability to allow the discus to fly and surf the wind. Our new Fiber Sport discus is made to be selected to fit your needs, no matter the weather, no matter the conditions. Check out our discus selection guide at fibersportdiscus.com and find a dealer in your area that sells our fine product. Thank you, Jason and Janelle, for allowing me to talk with your listeners on Talk and Throws Texas Style.
Throwingfactory.com. Check out all of our coaches. You got us. You got Coach Kai, Coach Morgan Knight, and Coach Jarvis if you're looking for lessons. Anything you want to, summer track is kind of coming to an end, but if you're serious about this, it starts in the fall. What you want to accomplish in the spring or next year is going to start in the fall. So reach out to us, get some lessons. If you're watching this on YouTube, give us a little feedback, a little like what shirts. We both have on the same shirts today, so what shirts look the best. Don't comment on my hair.
Go to the shopping page on the thornfactory.com as well. Then also remind everybody about Lifting WM Performance. Go to that website if you're looking for Olympic lifting sessions, lessons, personal training, whatever you need. Go to Lifting W, and my contact information is on that site. So, then also to a big shout out to Big Frogs of Colleyville. They have been with us since day one. They handle all our printing and embroidering and just basically anything we need. I run in there in the last minute and they have it up and ready basically within 24 hours. So Big Frogs, Colleyville, if you ever need any ideas on logos, developing a logo, printing, embroidering, screen printing, whatever, go to bigfrogs.com, and that website is Colleyville@bigfrog.com, Colleyville@bigfrog.com.
All right, y'all have a good one.